Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi, and over the next couple of minutes, this is the topic that we're going to try and decode. Welcome to a thought-provoking discussion on News9. Today, we delve into the urgent issue of illegal immigration from India. Desperate dreams, risky journeys. What's behind India's illegal immigration surge? The desire for a better life has driven many Indians to embark on dangerous and illegal routes, crossing borders to countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and several other European countries, essentially the western half of the globe from where India sees it. But what is the price that one has to pay? The real untold stories and consequences of this perilous pursuit of a better life. In our in-depth analysis, today we explore the motivations behind leaving the country, from aspirations for greater financial opportunities to seeking enhanced security. There are many factors at play. We'll also try and examine the influence of factors like English language skills and also the impact of OTT platforms on fueling these aspirations as well. The statistics, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, are staggering, with immigration to the United States skyrocketing by 4 times in the last 4 years alone. In Punjab, there has been a staggering 40% increase in the past year alone. But let's not forget, this dream comes at a price. So join us in the comment sections below as we unravel the workings of the donkey network and shed light on the rise in illegal immigration from India. Gain insights, hear personal accounts, and engage in a compelling conversation about the challenges and consequences faced by those seeking a better lifestyle. We're joined by Shanta Sri Sarkar, who's the voice and the journalist behind this particular story. We're also going to be joined by my colleague Kiran Tare, who focused on Gujarat when the donkey network was being looked at, and also Professor Amarjeeva Lochan from the Indian Center for Migration. He's going to be with us. But before that, Shanta's put out a sublime piece of documentary. It's called The Donkey Network. It's on the News9 Plus application, the world's first news OTT. I can keep on talking about the News9 Plus application, but before we move that and expand this discussion, here's a snippet of what we're going to essentially talk about. Understand what's the real problem at hand.
मैं तो चलिया विदेश
No, it's not a story of diversity in India. It's about a burning desire to leave the country, whatever it takes.
जो मिट्टी वाला जो टंकी है ना जे इंग्लैंड में है सभी और कनाडा में भी है जी सभी फैमिली। साथ वाली बाइट में है वो इंग्लैंड में है अभी कि वो जो बाज बैठा हो ना जहाँ ईगल वो लड़का डिपोर्ट होकर आया ऐसे अब 20 साल बाद।
They polish their English and sometimes adapt a British or American twang.
जासू, bonjour, bonjour, hola.
My name is Surina. I want to go to apply for Australia.
To earn enough for a luxurious life.
बाजी मैं तो चलिया कनाडा
But this dream comes at a price. Often dreamers end up paying for it with their lives.
Whenever anything happens, right, there will be very dark underbelly of it.
You're aware of these donkey routes and donkers where people are getting money, selling their lands, putting things in mortgage in India and giving it to people who are acting as middlemen and consultants to ship them to various countries.
The number has increased a lot. If I see a data from the government sources, 3,000 plus was in 2016 only for USA. It jumped to 16,000, 4 times more than that in the last Yeah, into 2020, you can say. Punjab and Haryana are the topmost two states, and both of them are very rich and fertile in agricultural production.
Broadly, Punjab is divided into three regions: the Malwa, the Doaba, and the Majha. Traditionally, Malwa has larger land holdings and businesses have prospered. The residents of Majha have smaller holdings and a more radical mindset. Doaba is the region that's inhabited by wealthy traders and has been the hub for a thriving illegal immigration business, started almost 50 years ago.
I am currently standing at the bus stand area of Jalandhar, also known as the NRI hub. This has more than 946 immigration companies, aisle center and air ticketing offices. Now speaking to people from the ground as well as law enforcement officials in Jalandhar, we have come across few interesting developments in the recent years, especially after the pandemic. First, there has been at least 40% increase in the last 1 year when it comes to illegal immigration across Punjab. Second, a 25% increase in the dropout rate. Children have been dropping out, especially in the higher education category, as it has seeped inside their minds that this land of five rivers has nothing to offer when it comes to job prospects or any other alternative career they want to pursue.
Well, now that's not all. You can download the application from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for other incisive analysis and cutting-edge documentaries as well. But shifting our focus back on the Donkey Network, Shanta, a beautiful documentary, and you've really hit the ground. You've spoken to some people who've undergone the atrocities and the perilous journeys that they've had to undertake in order to move abroad for a better life. Now, what's the actual problem? What's the crux of this story? I mean, people would say that, if somebody is moving outside for a better life, for some more money, what's wrong with that?
So, what is Donkey Networks? Donkey Network in simple terms is that people, in order to have a better lifestyle, better opportunities, greener pastures, they take, because they cannot go via legal route because they don't have the means or they don't have the intention for which you need a minimum kind of a requirement of education is required and lots of other, formalities. It's a little tough process for in order to move from one country to the other country and seek permanent residency over there. So hence, they take all these illegal measures to move there. So they, via unscrupulous agents, they move to different countries and then finally reach their destination via multiple stops. And some of them succeed and lead a lifestyle over there, and some of them do not succeed and they get, they get rounded up over there by the police personnel and then they get deported back. But still they dream to go abroad. Now you asked what is the crux of the problem. Now it varies from state to state. I hit the ground in Punjab and Haryana as well as parts of Uttarakhand. See, for years, like for decades, they have been traveling to different countries. So that is one of the motivation, because they believe that it is far more, money-wise, it is far more better. Of course, their generations have gone there, so that is a huge influence. Villages after villages are empty and young people want to go there. In Punjab specifically, drug abuse is a huge issue. Unemployment is a huge issue. And also, there are people who get motivated by their own cousins or sisters and all that. There are better opportunities over there. Hence, as I said, that there is around 40% increase in the illegal immigration in Punjab itself for the last 1 year. And children have been dropping out from schools. They are taking IELTS courses or PTE courses in order to get basic English training, and then somehow via these agents, they're paying lakhs of money by selling off their lands, and then they move to other countries like US and Canada.
Why is there a burning desire to, leave your own country? Has the state mechanism failed them? I mean, you spoke about the rising, if you're talking about Punjab, there's a rise in drug culture. We've seen the gang violence that's already taken place. We know that, jobs is something that the government is dealing with right now. But apart from this, is there some other reason behind the scenes as well? Something that more than what meets the eye here? Why? I mean, people leaving their own country is like it raises my eyebrow for sure.
Definitely, that is a huge concern for Indian government as well. But most of them are leaving, as you already pointed out, the list of problems that is there. And also, of course, they get motivated by all the people who have already gone there. There's a huge
The success
diaspora over
stories
there.
from outside.
The success stories, and they, of course, continuously influence their minds that you have to come over here. They're willing to leave jobs or certain things which will give them more opportunities over here and go and they can work in a petrol pump, or they lead a they do menial jobs over there, but still that is a better lifestyle than
But when
being
you have
in
when you
India.
have successful stories, I'm sure, and you've spoken to people on the ground. I know personal anecdotes from my hearsay. जितने successful stories हैं, उतने unsuccessful stories भी हैं, and they do tend to get a little dangerous as well.
Of course.
Only 2 months back there was a proper ship of refugees that it got wrecked on the coast of Italy, and you
Exactly.
lost all people, a lot of
Yeah.
youngsters on that ship as well.
See, when we talk about refugees from other country and you're talking about the ship that got wrecked and all, they are bound by the situation that the country face, and most of them are climate migrants, or they are somebody who have been facing political issues
Yeah,
in their
the
country.
effects
and
of the
all.
Middle
But
East has pushed out a lot, people.
Exactly. But when it comes to India, their motivation is only to have a greener pasture, to
A luxurious life.
a luxurious life, earn more money, and support their family back here. Okay, so that is the main motivation, and of course there are coupled by other reasons of political issues over here, no jobs, unemployment, and definitely there are other drug abuse and other kind of issues. But when it comes to risk that they take, they contact these agents. Most of them bribe these agents, and they said that हमें किसी भी तरह भेज दो वहाँ पे, whether it's fake documents, whether it's fake bank documents, whether it's fake degrees, whether it's visa applications which are fake. They utilize all of these, and then they somehow move from country to country. And our documentary talk about this kind of network, like how from our country they go to Dubai, and then from Dubai to move to a country in Africa, and then to Panama, and then they go to somewhere in El Salvador, and then maybe to Guatemala.
And all of this is illegal.
All of these are illegal, and then they move somehow to Mexico. They stay there in Mexico for a few months. Then because it is quite near to the US border, so they look out for loopholes in order to move to US, or somebody may be moving to Canada and they look for loopholes in order to move to US. So that is the main motivation, to move to US, Canada, or UK, and then earn more money
I
and
tell
live
you
a
what,
luxurious
it does
lifestyle.
sound lucrative, because in the documentary itself you're talking about 500% uptick if you're moving to the United States, a 300% uptick if a low-skilled Indian goes and works in the United Arab Emirates. Let's quickly take a view from Kiran Tare as well, who hit the ground running in Gujarat. Kiran, coming to you, what did you learn that was different in Gujarat compared to Punjab, and what was some of the interesting findings that you found out on the ground?
Of course, Gujarat is a very different pattern. See, Gujarat people, they are not unemployed or they are not poor. They are very rich, filthy rich people. In fact, the family I met, he told me that the rate of illegal immigration from Gujarat to US via Canada route is between 15 lakh rupees to 75 lakh rupees per person. So if
Wow.
a person is willing to pay 75 lakh rupees to land up in the migration camp in the US, you can imagine a family of four, they are willing to spend 4 crore rupees just to settle in US. So money is not an issue. In Gujarat, particularly in North Gujarat, there is a tremendous craze about US lifestyle. I don't know why, but even the local peoples they are not able to figure it out why there is so much craze about US. Perhaps the people in North Gujarat believe that the grass is greener on the other side. That's why they are going to the US. But the people which I have talked to, they told me that there are several cases right from the city like Ahmedabad, where a person was running a good factory. He had 30 employees with him. He sold everything. He went to the US illegally, of course, and he was working there as a salesperson in the mall there. So why would a person who is the owner of factory is willing to work there as a salesperson in a mall? This is something about the psychology of the people. This is nothing related with the poverty or the money crunch or the educational factor. My understanding of this subject is that once a person goes to the US or someone from the family is living in the US, you get a more respect in your own village. That is one of the reasons. I had gone to Dingucha, the village where last year a family of four had died, frozen to the death while crossing from Canada to the US. And they had told me that if someone from your family or some of your relatives are in US, you will automatically get more respect from the locals. This is very absolutely unimaginable, uncoded craze for the US. This is the main reason. Of course, there are so many other factors also. The less education is one of the factors. Language problem is another factor. They can't get the valid visa for that. That is why they are forced to take this illegal route. But even though they are forced to take the illegal route, there should be some mechanism, there should be some system to educate them that if you go legally, you will be more safe. Because if they go illegally there, they are not getting any healthcare system there. They are not eligible to get any insurance there because they are illegal migrants. Even if they face some medical issues, they have to pay a lot of money on their own expense, on from their own pocket for their treatment. So all these factors should be conveyed to the people who are willing to go there illegally. This is not only risking about their life, this is about risking their own future also. Not only their future generation also. Because
Absolutely,
once they are
absolutely.
out,
And
because once they
you know,
are
Kiran,
out, there is no way
also
back.
throw some light on the fact that we had Shanta was telling us about Punjab, that people don't have a lot of money, they don't have the means to get out there in the legal way. But in Gujarat, when people have the money that you're talking about, they're still coughing up those crores of rupees. Why is that so? I mean, why can't they take the legal way? What's the problem there?
No, the main hurdle in the legal way is the educational qualification and the language hurdle. You need certain education qualification to get the valid visa, which is not there in North Gujarat. People have money but no education. Again, this is a very tricky question whether education is important or money is important. Education can't give you money or money can't give you education. There is a huge debate going on in North Gujarat. So that is the main hurdle. Second point is about the language skills. The Gujarati people are very good at the business, but they are not very good in English language, which is another big hurdle. Now the coming generation, the younger generation, they are learning English, they are fluent in English, but those who have crossed the age of 40, they are still not well versed in English. There the problem comes in.
An interesting take on this one. What is the price, Shanta, that one has to pay? You know, in the documentary, with some really, tense music in the back and a deep voiceover, you're saying that there is a huge price that one has to pay. And we're talking about deaths, 4,000 deaths annually. But what else? I mean, not everybody is dying that is undertaking these journeys. What's more over here?
Death, unfortunately, death is the huge risk factor that these people are taking up. And of course, the money part. I mean, on an average, a person spends from 45 to 50 lakhs. Some of them sell off their lands or mortgage their lands. They are willing to give up everything in order to move there. And sometimes because of the situation, because of these agents who are uncouth, who are unscrupulous, who leave them to their own fate. So imagine
must be a lot of scams at play as well, right?
Of course. I mean, imagine somebody crossing from Canada to US through St. Lawrence River, and that person is saying that I won't take the boat and crossed over towards US, but they are somehow convinced. And next day we get to know that that entire family of 4 people who had gone there with the pretext of roaming around in Canada were actually of intention to actually move over to US, and then drowning in the river. Imagine what will be the impact back home. So yes, death is the biggest factor, money is the biggest factor, and as you said that what more is definitely, for every dream comes at a price, and they are willing to take such a risk, they are willing to pay that price and somehow move over there. They are willing to stay in prisons and get deported. And when we are talking to them again, interviewing these case studies, that are you willing to go again to these countries, USA, UK or Canada, they are saying yes, I still want to go. And when you talk about scams, there is definitely a visa scam over there. Like there's a passport scam. So somebody's passport which whose picture matches with you will be given to you, and they will say that okay, you can move from Georgia to UK via this passport. There will be an education scam, like some kind of education documents which will be forged up from Canada University, which that university might not be even functional, and that will be given to you, and then you move over there, and once you apply for permanent residency, you realize, oh damn, this education paper is actually fake. And then there are other kind of scams like fake degrees, fake bank statements, fake passport, as I said. So yes, these are the kind of scams that are going on. But the problem is this: the agents are themselves not responsible for it. Even the people from Punjab and Haryana and Gujarat are responsible for it. So it's equal responsibility between the agents and the people who are willing to take up this risk.
And there are proper
Their lives
magnets.
are
I mean, you were standing at that bus point in Jalandhar,
Yeah.
where there was this NRI hub. You were talking about so many, agencies and their offices were there. I mean, if on the big board, like a vegetable market, it's written, go to Canada, and we all know about that joke that, half of Punjab is in Canada. Is it even Canada? It's Punjab over there.
Yeah.
Those kind of jokes always do the round, and people getting trolled on social media as well. But I mean, the NRI hub, what's different about Jalandhar? And not just Jalandhar, the Doaba region. I mean, there are 3 big regions in Punjab. The Doaba region seems to be sending the most people out there.
Exactly.
Why
So
is that?
as mentioned in the documentary itself, there are 3 parts, broadly defining Punjab in 3 parts: Majha, Malwa and Doaba. And now Majha and Malwa, traditionally, there are more land holdings, there are people who are wealthy traders, and some of radical elements are also involved. But when it comes to Doaba, people do not have that much of money. They are traditionally known to send people across seas and go abroad and settle over there and send money back home, and then they have prospered. They have prospered so much that villages after villages are actually sending out people, whether legally or illegally, so that they can develop. So they know that the source of income will not come from India, but source of income will actually come from US, UK or Canada. And that's why they take all these illegal routes. For months, they might be staying in a Gurudwara, or they might be, journeying from one country to other country inside a bunker in a bus, or maybe they will be doing these menial jobs of working in a hotel, in a restaurant, or working in a flower market, maybe, for example. And then somehow via boats or via other means, they will reach to the country of desire, and then again start their journey from there. So in this entire process, they end up giving a lot of money, they end up staying in prisons, they end up also getting deported back, but again they dream of going over there.
Well, absolutely. Another example that Kiran also gave us about that guy who had 30 employees under him,
Yeah.
and so he's now a mall sales executive in the United States. Joining us on the broadcast is Professor Amarjeeva Lochan, who's a member for the Indian Center for Migration that works in tandem with the Ministry of External Affairs. Sir, I know you're busy. You're a busy man, and you've got a slew of meetings. But now that you're on the broadcast with us, help the viewers understand what are some of the main challenges and risks that are associated with the illegal immigration, particularly in the context of India and the data that we have as of 2023, sir. Sir, could you please unmute yourself, sir? Could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm unfortunately on 2 different meetings.
I understand, sir, but your opinion is of
Regarding this question,
utmost
we
importance.
have to take care of this fact that we are always looking into the aspect which are known, generally known, understood by many of us. But there are 2 areas which we should not forget it. You see, this illegal immigration is happening towards the Western world. When you talk about USA, Canada being one of the 2 big sources. Now we have to see the data from those countries also. Every year they are condoning the immigration. Illegal immigrants are taken back as a citizen. This number has increased manyfold, and we don't look into that data. So there's a great chance of you going through all illegal ways, becoming illegal. So if the number of the countries like that, US and Canada, are increasing, promoting illegal migration to happen to their countries, it is one of the big factors. That's why I find, in spite of having such rich culture, agriculture, and richness in these 2 states of India, Punjab and Haryana, we do find people going there selling land and this and all. Because there is a full-less possibility now. Much earlier, it was not that easier to get migration and then getting settled down. Now, illegal channels, people are entering and they get citizenship. So this is a big lucrative offer coming to our people. Secondly,
But at the same time, sir, what are some potential social, economical, and socio-economical challenges and implications of this? I mean, what kind of policies do we have that can then curtail this kind of illegal immigration?
If you're referring to socioeconomic challenges in our country and then making them go, will be not a great idea to think of that, because there are social challenges in more states in India than these two states. So they would find easier to move from
Okay.
other states. There are lots of socio-economic crises up there, like Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha. You can find it very easily there is crisis. But now you are seeing the rich people are going. The per capita income of these two states is very high. Now, the lucrative thing is also one factor. Second, psychological factor, one of speakers were telling just now before me, that psychological factor is very important here. You see, many of those going to these countries, they transmit their money back home. And I'm sure that 60% of those money which they arrived in their own homeland, they are using on making big, big houses, palatial houses. Neighbor has done this, so I should also do that. So this kind of psychology works in the Punjab villages, whether it is Faridkot or any other district. You'll find lots of remote areas, big, big palatial houses, where very few people are living there. Very few living there. So this is an extra vaganja, which is also promoted because of this psychological factor of why not me, why only my neighbor. So this is one area we have to think about this kind of donkey network movement. Thirdly, the agency, as we have already talked about, there are lots of agencies coming up. Education is no more criteria. Very rightly told by Shankashri that the illegal documents of bank and all are prepared, and we are using those very liberally. So I'm sure that we have to look into this factor also before we call
But
this network.
if I could pick your,
In fact, there are many donkeys around us.
you know, that is actually a good analogy. If I were to pick your brain just a little bit more, sir, you know, how does illegal immigration impact the receiving countries and their immigration policies? You know, I remember Joe Biden, he went to Mexico just a couple of months back. There was a proper furor on that border front as well. And we've got visuals of those in the documentary as well.
Could you repeat again this question, please?
Sir, I need to understand what are, you know, some implications of this immigration on the receiving country and their immigration policies.
Well, you see the data from 1975 to 85 American economies, and now you see 2005, 2015, huge jump has happened because we all have contributed in this way. It's not only NASA scientists of Indian origin, but these kind of people work at a lower rate than what they are offered by local people for the local citizens. So definitely they are tremendously help into that kind of
can these international counterparts collaborate to an extent where you can curb these kind of activities? Because, you know, you've got, when the line gets a little bit blurred, illegal immigration and human trafficking sort of go hand in hand.
Yes, very true. I see now that the movement of trafficking, not illegal one, happening nowadays in last 6 months towards Korea and Japan. You might have heard of lots of people are going there. They don't know even one line English. Forget about Japanese or Korean. They're being utilized in the farmhouses and all. Italy has also started in a big way. So Italy has to, earlier remember, Italian agriculture was completely dominated by Macedonian, Greek people and other Albanian people going there. They were allowed to be there for 15 days, then we leave for 15 months. Now they're depending on that because these all countries have got different governments now. They want the wages equal at the EU rate. And Indians, when they go illegally to Italy, they don't even think of that, and they never get it. So this is an imbalance which you find now in Europe, which will be perhaps compensated very well, because when you see Indians going to Korea or Japan, they are being paid as per government wages very, very equally. So
well, also,
sure.
Just to inform the viewers as well, that according to the United States' Customs and Border Protection data, 60,000 Indians, ladies and gentlemen, entered the country illegally during 2021 and 2022, which is a 109% increase from the 30,600 odd people in the previous fiscal year. And India is the 5th biggest source of illegal immigrants. Why we're putting this out, this information, is because the second episode of the Donkey Network is launching today. So before we let you go, Professor Lochan, you know, help the viewers understand what people don't know. What are they not aware of? You know, it looks lucrative, 500% more money, 300% more money. But what is it that they don't know? The cameras are to you, your message to people out there.
There are bogus universities and academic institutions one should know in India. Because they think they are making money and also getting a degree from good Ivy League type of university, which is not true. Many of universities I have seen by myself in Australia, they're running in 2 rooms. And that has to be understood by all of us in India, that this is only money business, nothing happening with those academic achievements. Their MBAs are not even recognized in India in many ways. So one has to be very careful that they cannot come back with the kind of hope that they will be earning more by having their MBAs coming from so and so university in Canada or Australia. That is very important to be learned by all of us.
All right. Professor Lochar, many thanks for joining with us. Your insights have been really helpful in understanding this story. I'm going to quickly go back to Kiran Tare, senior editor for News9 Plus, who continues to be with us. He's been tracking developments from Gujarat on this particular story. Kiran, is there a link between Punjab and Gujarat? Because Professor Lochar is of the opinion that these are two states that have major land holdings, that's enough, agricultural belt is, and the province of agriculture in these belts is much more than the other parts of the country. But you have just these two states that send the most amount of people outside, that too illegally. Is there a link over there that one has to look at as well?
There is no link as such with Punjab when it comes to Gujarat, because Gujarat is a separate model. Punjab is a very different model. Why people are going from Gujarat is just because of craze for the US lifestyle. They don't need money. They have a lot of money with them. They want to spend the money somewhere. So they are crazy about the lifestyle. They think that a person living in US is getting a more respect in his hometown or home village. That is the only reason why Gujarati people are going. My information is that the Gujarat government is tracking all those illegal immigration. Officially, nobody is willing to talk on the number, the statistics, the data is not available with the state government. But when I talked to a senior officer from Gujarat Police, he said that every year they have found at least 400 to 500 people crossing over from Canada to the US. And they are all from Gujarati, and especially from North Gujarat region. So when this, in some incidences, accidents like death, they come and they become public, then only the government picks up. That is the only issue. They conduct raids on the agents. The agents are behind the bar. Again, the agents are released on the bail. But it goes on, goes on, and goes on. There is no stop to that. Unless and until the people are educated on the ill effects of illegal immigration, there is nothing going to change in as far as Gujarat is concerned. There is one gentleman called as C.K. Patel, who is the chairman of Vishwa Gujarat Samaj, who stays in New York, and he has taken a step appealing the people that not to come to US in an illegal way. Come in an illegal way, you are welcome. But when you come in an illegal way, you are not welcome here. You will be treated as a secondary citizen, which is not good for your own benefit. This kind of awareness is needed in Gujarat. But again, when it comes to the government policies, the government is absolutely, they are turning a blind eye. And what we can say, it's a coincidence or it's an irony that most of the cases of illegal immigration had happened from the district of Gandhinagar, which is the Lok Sabha constituency of Union Home Minister Amit Shah.
Well, absolutely. The government policies, a big question mark over there, Shanta. And even as we wrap up this show, there's human capital, human resource drain, there's financial drain. In the documentary, you're talking about how families get divided, they get ruptured. Kiran just spoke about it's not just hurting yourself, but your future generations as well. What are some pragmatic ways that the government can now step in and put forth, schemes, ideas, public, service messages that can then promote legally stepping out and migrating to another foreign country, but legally, not illegally?
Yeah, the first and foremost measure that should be taken up by government, and they are of course working on ground, is of course engage more and more NGOs to go into the remotest areas of Haryana and Uttarakhand as well as in Punjab, from where basically these dreams actually start getting made, and then they aspire to go abroad, and of course make them know what are the fallout of paying a price for this dream when you go illegally. And definitely education is the first thing that should be encouraged, that they should get educated, so that when they are training they are getting trained for IELTS or PTE, then they apply it for a legal method of going abroad rather than illegal way of going there and depending completely on the agent. So there are some students I have spoken to from ground who are taking these trainings, but they are unaware that when they move to these countries, what are they going to do, what are they going to pursue, what kind of career they look forward to. They have no clue about it. They are all dependent on the agents. Whatever however way the agent want to trick them, or whichever way they want to take them. So definitely education is the first thing that should be focused on. NGOs should be engaged, and more people should be encouraged to go abroad, pursue their dreams, but of course in a legal way. Proper documentation should be something that they should understand, that how it happens and what it happens. Why this lack of confidence within themselves and more confidence in agents is because of lack of education, and of course lack of knowledge and lack of kind of a distrust in government, that they are not going to do anything for us and we have to fend for ourselves, and that by going outside. So that increase in confidence, installing confidence rather from the government side, is most important.
Yeah, because essentially if you have the know-how of filling up a form yourself, you then are part of the process.
Exactly.
You don't let somebody else become part of that process, and education plays a key role over here. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a case study in this documentary where Shanta has spoken to a gentleman who's been trying, it's his 4th or 5th try, trying to get into Birmingham.
Yeah.
For some reason, he wants to go to Birmingham, and he's gone to Istanbul, he's gone to France, he's been on the rough seas. It's a treacherous journey, and it'll really open up your eye as well. But the bottom line is that it does sound lucrative. There are agents available. There are people out there to scam you and rip you off, but it's also your responsibility. You need to research your destination well. You need to understand where you're going, what you're doing, because the bottom line is that it does look lucrative, but there's a price that you have to pay for it. And sometimes, more often than not, this price becomes all too real and dangerous. That's all in this episode. India is the 5th biggest source of illegal immigrants. The 2nd episode is dropping today.
Yes.
Is it out as we speak?
No, it's about
but
to be out.
It's going to be there soon enough. Do check out the News9 Plus application. It's the world's first OTT news application. If we're all shifting to OTT, we've made news a little more easy for you to consume, a little more interesting. I promise we're going to leave you with some sort of information. On that note, Shanta, always a pleasure speaking to you. And Kiran Tare, Senior Editor at News9 Plus, many thanks for joining with us and your details on what's really happening in Gujarat. That's all the time we have. We're going to leave you here with a snippet of the first episode yet again. And like I said, don't forget to check out episode number 2.
अब मैं तो चलिया विदेश
No, it's not a story of diversity in India. It's about a burning desire to leave the country, whatever it takes.
जो मिट्टी वाला जो टंकी है ना जे इंग्लैंड में है सभी, और कनाडा में भी है जी सभी फैमिली। साथ वाली बाइट में है, वो इंग्लैंड में है अभी। कि वो जो बाज बैठा हो ना, जहाँ ईगल, वो लड़का डिपोर्ट होकर आया ऐसे अब 20 साल बाद।
They polish their English and sometimes adapt a British or American twang.
जासू, bonjour, bonjour, hola.
My name is Surina. I want to go to apply for Australia.
To earn enough for a luxurious life.
बाजी मैं तो चलिया कनाडा
But this dream comes at a price. Often dreamers end up paying for it with their lives.
Whenever anything happens, right, there will be very dark underbelly of it.
You're aware of these donkey routes and donkers where people are getting money, selling their lands, putting things in mortgage in India and giving it to people who are acting as middlemen and consultants to ship them to various countries.
The number has increased a lot, if I see a data from the government sources, 3,000 plus was in 2016 only for USA. It jumped to 16,000, 4 times more than that in the last year, into 2020 you can say. Punjab and Haryana are the topmost 2 states, and both of them are very rich and fertile in agricultural production.
Broadly, Punjab is divided into 3 regions: the Malwa, the Doaba, and the Majha. Traditionally, Malwa has larger land holdings and businesses have prospered. The residents of Majha have smaller holdings and a more radical mindset. Doaba is the region that's inhabited by wealthy traders and has been the hub for a thriving illegal immigration business, started almost 50 years ago.
I am currently standing at the bus stand area of Jalandhar, also known as the NRI hub. This has more than 946 immigration companies, aisle center and air ticketing offices. Now speaking to people from the ground as well as law enforcement officials in Jalandhar, we have come across few interesting developments in the recent years, especially after the pandemic. First, there has been at least 40% increase in the last 1 year when it comes to illegal immigration across Punjab. Second, a 25% increase in the dropout rate. Children have been dropping out, especially in the higher education category, as it has seeped inside their minds that this land of 5 rivers has nothing to offer when it comes to job prospects or any other alternative career they want to pursue.